So Loki Season 2 came out, and it was... Well, before I get into Season 2, I should give my brief thoughts on Season 1. When Season 1 first came out back in 2021, I honestly didn't see what all the hype was about. I really liked the first episode, but I didn't really like the majority of episodes after that. Well, before Season 2 came out, I of course rewatched its predecessor, as I do with every MCU project that comes out, and I thought it was really good. I still think Episode 1 is a really strong opening to the show. Episode 2 was my least favorite. I felt like nothing much happened in that episode, and while Episode 3 was better, I still didn't like it that much. However, Episode 4 and 5 were both really good. I also take back what I said about the finale. I actually think the finale was really good, and Jonathan Majors did a great job. Season 1 in general is actually way better than I remembered. The characters are great, the performances are amazing, and I really liked seeing Loki become a good guy. I became more excited for Season 2 afterwards, and what do I think? It was fantastic. Not only was this season better, this cemented Loki as easily the best MCU show on Disney+. Episode 1, titled Ouroboros, introduces us to the character of Ouroboros, or Obi. To be honest, when I first saw the trailer for Season 2, I actually thought that Obi would end up being kind of annoying, but I'm happy to say that he wasn't. Obi is a delightful character. I also really liked Loki trying to talk to Obi in the past while Mobius is talking to him in the future. That scene was really fun to watch. The first episode isn't as strong as the first episode in Season 1, but I still thought it was really good. There's also a mid-credit scene where Sylvie arrives at a McDonald's where she later starts working there. I love Sylvie's character in this show. She's one of my favorite new characters in the MCU. Even though she isn't really an antagonist in this show, she often disagrees with Loki, especially in Season 2. And while most people are probably on Loki's side, you can still perfectly understand her side of things and where she's coming from. I also really like her line at the end of this episode.
I want to try everything.
Some people were saying that the McDonald's is just there for product placement, but there's a reason why McDonald's is used. It's used to give Sylvie a look at what a normal life would have been like if she wasn't captured by the TVA. Episode 2, Breaking Brad, was also good. A highlight of this episode was Loki using his powers on Brad. The interrogation scene was also great. Tom Hiddleston nailed that scene. Now Episode 3, while not being bad, was the weakest episode in my opinion. The episode is called 1893 and involves Loki and Mobius going to 1893 to try and find Renslayer and Miss Minutes. Along the way, they also encounter a variant of Kang named Victor Timely, showing off his invention, as well as Sylvie, who attempts to kill Victor Timely. I like the costumes and the setting, but the other episodes were way better. And I know everyone's talked about this, but I was very surprised to see Miss Minutes suddenly revealing her love for Victor Timely, and even gets upset at the fact that she was never given a body, clearly implying she wants to fuck him. Episode 4, Heart of the TVA, is a pretty crazy episode. Miss Minutes excitedly watches a bunch of variants get crushed to death, while Loki and the gang try to save the TVA. The episode ends on a huge cliffhanger with Victor Timely getting spaghettified and the entire TVA getting destroyed. Episode 5, Science Fiction, has Loki time-slipping to different timelines and finds each of the TVA workers in their previous lives. Loki tries to convince Mobius of his TVA life and gets help from Obi. I love the scene where Loki and Sylvie are sitting at the bar and Loki admits that the reason he wants to save the TVA is because he wants his friends back. Tom Hiddleston is so fucking good in this show. His performance is amazing and he really gave it his all in every episode. At the end, when Loki has everyone in one place, suddenly they all start getting spaghettied, and that's also when Loki realizes that he can control his time-slipping. Then there's the finale, and was it a big disappointment like most MCU show finales? Fuck no. I'm honestly kicking myself for not watching this finale sooner. You see, this finale came out on the same night that The Marvels was playing at my cinema, so I had to decide which one to watch first, and I really should have watched this finale first, because it is the best finale of any MCU show. This is also the best episode of the whole show. I loved every second of this finale. First of all, the Marvel Studios logo being shown in reverse is a nice detail. The opening where Loki tries over and over again to fix the TVA, only to find out by talking to He Who Remains that the TVA was always meant to fail, was actually really sad. And that's this finale in a nutshell. It's full of sad moments as Loki tries to figure out what he has to do in order to save the multiverse. His final goodbye to Mobius is brilliant. By having him go back to the first episode of the show when Loki and Mobius met, and have that also be their final goodbye is beautiful. Loki realizes that it's him that needs to fix the multiverse and becomes the god of stories. There's so many brilliant lines in this episode too, like when Loki says,
I know what I want. I know what kind of god I need to be. For you. For all of us.
It's so good, I loved it. It is such a great ending to the show and cements Loki as one of the best characters, as well as having possibly the best character arc in the entire MCU. Also, having this episode share the same title as the first episode in Season 1 is brilliant. In the first episode called Glorious Purpose, Loki tells Morbius that he's burdened with glorious purpose, only to realize in this finale, also called Glorious Purpose, that his so-called glorious purpose is to become the god of stories and save the multiverse. I also love the final shot of the episode when it zooms in on Loki, and we see a look of sadness at first, and then a slight smile at the end, and that is genius. This whole finale was exhilarating. I haven't had this much fun watching the MCU in a long time. This show is amazing and is one of the best MCU shows, definitely the best Disney Plus show. I honestly think the MCU is going to have a really tough time topping this finale. It also felt like an actual proper finale. It concluded character arcs, it concluded stories, and there's no tease for a third season, which I don't think there is going to be a third season. If we never see Loki again after this, I would 100% be okay with that because this is a very satisfying way of ending his character. Some people might be disappointed that there's no setup for the character of Kang in the future, but to me, this more than made up for it. So Loki Season 2 was fantastic, and the show in general is something that I really warmed up to. The characters and the way they concluded them is brilliant, the performances are phenomenal, it's shot really nicely, and the score is awesome. If I were to rate both seasons separately, I would give Season 1 an 8 out of 10, Season 2 an 8.5 out of 10, and I'm going to give the show as a whole a 9 out of 10. Loki Season 2, for the first time in a long time, makes me excited for the MCU going forward, and Loki is further proof that the MCU is not dead. I constantly hear people say the MCU died after Endgame, and I just never believed that. We've gotten good projects post-Endgame. Anyway, thanks for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.